2017, the beginning of the end. The U.S. economy is about to get slammed by a major recession. This is by Michael Snyder, and it was posted on February 9th. This article was written on by Michael Snyder and originally published at his Economic Collapse blog. Editor's comment: the factors are lining up. President Obama left office with everything quietly coming to a head. None of the major problems have been resolved, and a cropping to the surface again. The Federal Reserve lost its ability to continually stimulate the economy with unlimited printing and credit. It has months ago scheduled a series of interest rate increases that will put a tremendous amount of pressure on an already vulnerable system. The millions who've been skating by on credit cards and shaking decisions will have no backup plan in store. Commercial lending, too, will clamp down, triggering a series of bankruptcies and failures to pay. Loans will be generally more difficult and slow down the wheel of commerce, the large debts still climbing in student loans, auto, housing, and the rest of it. The federal government is at apocalyptic debt levels, with Barack Obama adding $10 to $11 trillion in debt and bringing the total U.S. debt to at least $20 trillion. A hole has been created that can't be escaped. A great deal of pain is worked into the math of how this all plays out, and through a series of reactive and forward-thinking maneuvers, the financial titans will shuffle once again and force the rest of us to cope with some very difficult times that will factor in like clockwork. Get ready and hedge yourself against the worst of it. Now, before I go into this, I want to show you something. This originally was posted in 2014. I just redid an article on it. I think I made a video back then, but I can't even remember if I did or didn't. This appeared on Deagle's website. I don't exactly know what the website is. It's a military website, however. Or if it's a person, if the website's based on a person, it's Deagle. If you haven't been to it, there's a link in here in this article that I did today. It's 2025, and somehow, some way, over half of the population of the United States vanished. Whoa, that was out of the blue, Nate. The question is, where did everybody go? Now, hang on, stay with me. Amidst all of the predictions and all of the calculations brought out by the intelligence agencies regarding the future of the world, there is one website that claims the United States will have less than 20% of its populace remaining in 2025. As you can see, here's a picture of the website here. United States of America. This is from 2015. We have 321 plus million people. In 2025, the estimate is only 61 million plus people. Now, wait a minute. That's a big cut. Where did everybody go? Now, again, the money side of things is 17 million plus, but then by 2025, 949,000. Military spending, 781,000, 8,000. Where did everybody go? Previously, the Christian Truther has reported that intelligence agencies have claimed that by 2025 the world will be entirely multipolar, and that with the rise of multipolarity comes economic strife, conflict, civil unrest, and great discord amongst nations. However, according to Deagle, a military website that provides upcoming air shows and exhibitions, and forecasts countries' GDP and population statuses, the U.S. by 2025 will be a much different place. If the Deagle website is remotely correct, the only question that can come from their estimates is what on earth happened to the United States. You can see the rest of that article here, or you can go to the Deagle.com, I think it is. Let me hover so I can find out. Deagle.com, yeah. Go to Deagle.com, country / forecast if you want to see those. Back to this, though. In the U.S., is the U.S. economy about to get slammed by a major recession? According to Gallup, U.S. economic confidence has soared to the highest level ever recorded. But meanwhile, a whole host of key economic indicators are absolutely screaming that a new recession is beginning. And if the U.S. economy does officially enter recession territory in 2017, it certainly won't be a shock, because the truth is that we are well overdue for one. Donald Trump has inherited quite an economic mess from Barack Obama, and it was probably inevitable that we were headed for a significant economic downturn no matter who won the election. One of the key indicators to watch is average weekly hours. When the economy shifts into recession mode, employers tend to start cutting back hours, and that is happening right now. In fact, as Graham Summers has pointed out, we just witnessed the largest percentage decline in average weekly hours since the recession of 2008. In addition to the decline in hours, Summers has suggested that there are a number of other reasons to believe that a new recession is here. The fact is that the GDP growth of 4 to 5% is not just around the corner. The U.S. most likely slid into recession in the last 3 months. GDP growth collapsed in 4Q16, with a large portion of the growth coming from accounting gimmicks. Consider the following. Tax receipts indicate the U.S. is in recession. Gross private domestic investment indicates we are in a recession. Retailers are showing that the U.S. consumer is tapped out. See Amazon's recent miss. UPS, another economic bellwether, dramatically lowered 2017 forecasts. To me, even more alarming is the tightening of lending standards. In our debt-based economy, the flow of credit is absolutely critical to economic growth. And when credit starts to get tight, that almost always leads to a recession. So the fact that lending standards have now tightened for medium and large-sized firms for 6 quarters in a row is very bad news. The following comes from Business Insider. Although modest over the past couple of quarters, it is still worth noting that this is now the 6th quarter in succession that standards have tightened for large and medium-sized firms. Deutsche Bank economist Jim Reed wrote in a research note to clients, this usually only happens in recessions. Now wait a minute here. I just previously read to you a prediction that by 2025, the U.S. population would be at 61 million rather than 321 plus million in 2015. The GDP is 17 million, almost 18 million in 2015. But in 2025, it's only 949,000. These two are linked. Now, Deagle happens to go into, I don't know if the guy, if it's a guy named Deagle or what, but the Deagle website goes into a brief explanation as to what in the world took place. The majority of the economic and demographic data used in the making of the forecast is widely available by institutions such as the CIA, IMF, UN, USG, etc. You can see the most relevant data at every single country's page. There is a tiny part of data coming from a variety of shadow sources such as internet gurus, unsigned reports, and others. But all these sources are from the internet and are public domain for at least a minority. For example, several years ago, Degong, the Chinese ratings agency, published a report analyzing the physical economy of the states, comparing it with those of China, Germany, and Japan. The conclusion was that the U.S. GDP was something between 5 to 10 trillion, instead of $15 trillion, as officially reported by the USG. We assume that the official data, especially economic, released by governments is fake, cooked or distorted in some degree. Historically, it is well known that the former Soviet Union was making up fake statistics years before its collapse. Western as well as other countries are making up their numbers today to conceal their real state of affairs. We are sure that many people out there can find government statistics in their own countries that by their own personal experience are hard to believe or are so optimistic that maybe belong to a different country. Now, of course, he goes on to state in here that he did not include, or this individual did not include, any sort of crisis, like a pandemic or a nuclear war, in this forecast. So take the U.S. for example. This massive decline of almost 80%, right? This is a 20% left in less than 10 years. That's a lot of people, folks. Where'd they all go? It was not due to a pandemic, and it was not due to nuclear war. Where did they all go? The website Deagle claims that it's because they all immigrated. I'm sorry, not immigrated, migrated. Wrong way. Migrated to other countries like Asia and Europe. That many people left. Many people went to Southern America. Why? What was the reason? What drove them out of the U.S.? Does it have something to do with the economy? This is kind of where we have to say, well, we'll see. We'll see. Remember, folks, play the long game. Things are shaking up and changing. This week, we're expecting to release our latest episode in the series Club of Rome, or All Roads Lead to Rome, the secret society behind the United Nations and the New World Order. Now, of course, our latest episode was episode 4, the Twisted Hidden Hands, the United Nations Exposed. If you'd like to support what we do in our fight against the New World Order, become a member of Christian Truther. Go to christiantruther.com/info for more information. I want to thank you guys for supporting us, for your prayers, for watching our videos, and of course for checking out our website. You can get the latest news by going to christiantruther.com/news. God bless and carry on.